What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 2 of Threebie Thursday, where I take you through 3 tips and tricks I wish I knew sooner when it came to filming and editing. Alright, last week I gave you some basics, some things that you should always remember, getting into the groove, feeling comfortable with your camera and everything. This week, I'm going to talk about short keys. I used Adobe Premiere Pro in college, so I kind of used that when I left and went into my first job. It's just something I was comfortable with, something I fell in love with. So if you use Adobe Premiere Pro, here are some short keys that are going to help you without having to think and finding the toggles and knowing what each icon is, because there's plenty of keys, but there's a lot of shortcuts. Shortcut number 1, that is probably one of your most important, that you will be using every single time you edit footage. Marking in and out. All you need is the letter I and the letter O. When you're in your editing bay window and you're clicking through your sequence, finding the starting point, the ending point, before you drop it in to the bay, using I and O will easily help you mark exactly where you want the footage to start and where you want it to end. Instead of having to go up to the top left of the screen, clicking where the mark-in point is, you just need to have your fingers hovering over the I and the O. Tip number 2 is your period on your keyboard. That overwrites everything and that drops it into your editing bay. After you click your I and your O to mark out what part of the video clip you want, all you have to do is move your finger down a little bit, press the period, and it'll drop right into your editing bay. However, always make sure your cursor is where you want the video to drop, because it will overwrite, as it is said in the word. It will overwrite old clips or existing clips. So I always make sure that my sequence point is at the very end of the last clip that I had put in there, so that way it's set up. Once I drop it in using the period, it goes in right afterwards. No spaces, no glitches, it just falls right into place, one after the other. Going into tip number 3, that is going to be your C and your V. That will be your razor tool and your pointer tool. So with your pointer tool, that just highlights your clips, that just selects everything, moves things over. It's just your basic cursor tool that allows you to do anything without damaging the footage or removing anything, vice versa. Your C, razor tool, cuts things. I know you mark in and out when you are in your sequence bay, when you're picking the exact shot you want. But when you're in editing, when you put music in, sometimes you need to trim things, sometimes you need to move things around, or you might not like how it kind of lays out, how it kind of flows. So going back and forth between your pointer tool and your razor tool is very helpful, your C and V. Alright, so that brings us to the end of episode 2. Thank you for tuning in. Those are my favorite short keys that I'm always using. Obviously, there's plenty more. We can always go into depth with them. Let me know what short keys you want to hear about. Tune in next week for more tips and tricks, and I'll see you later.